Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Eating Dubs Fantasy. We took a little bit of a break following the end of the last fantasy football season. Um, had some pretty heartbreaking defeats. Lost in like the finals in a couple leagues. Lost in the semis in another. In my main league, lost in the semis as well. Just rough season. But we're back. We licked our wounds, and now we're ready to fire up some more fantasy football content. So in this video, I want to talk about Jaylen Waddle. Now, Jaylen Waddle has been giving me some excitement, and mainly because of some of the news that's come out in the past couple weeks. And this first little bit of news that I want to show you guys is what the new head coach Mike McDaniel said in a recent interview. So basically, he was asked who on the Dan Levitard show, like, who excites you, who should be exciting Dolphins fans in this upcoming season. And I mean, I'm just gonna play the video and let you guys hear it first, and then we'll talk about it.
Outside of Tua Tagovailoa, give me a name, please, just to excite the Dolphin fan base, where you are looking at the roster and you're like, oh, I can get something
Waddle,
out of that guy. Okay.
Waddle.
All right. So you're promising us. You could promise it. Waddle, if he's healthy, you're going to see a little Deebo Samuel. You're going to see someone who's used super versatile.
No, I just talked with him on Monday, and I I think I think he understands his leadership role on this team. That he's a phenomenal talent, and guess what? It is much the best and easiest way to get yards is give it to a really talented player and have him. The 49ers the last 4 or 5 years have led the league in yak. The reason is because we're addicted to getting our skill position players that are good with running the ball. And so yes, I would start him in fantasy. But then beyond that, I think I would I I think you should see some jumps in the Miami Dolphins offense next year. What those look like will be determined this offseason and the way the players work and attack things um, moving forward.
Outside of Tua.
All right, guys. So you heard it from the man himself, new head coach. So Mike McDaniel comes from the San Francisco 49ers. He recently just served as the offensive coordinator in this past season. Mike McDaniel comes from the Kyle and Mike Shanahan tree, and I know that typically excites people, and people maybe take that a little too far most off seasons when somebody from a specific offensive minded tree becomes a new head coach. We tend to get pretty excited, but I think this news is really relevant. Um, he's essentially saying, I mean, we saw what happened to Deebo Samuel last season. He became I think the number two fantasy wide receiver in half point, and just the way he was being used, um, short yardage routes with yards after the catch, which is what Mike Daniel just mentioned. So I imagine Jaylen Waddle becoming kind of like a gadget guy. So just quickly looking at his past stats, I mean, pretty ridiculous for a rookie. Unfortunately, Jamar Chase is getting most of the hype and the headlines following this rookie season, and deservedly so. But Jaylen Waddle was nothing to cough about, if that's even a saying. 142 targets, 104 receptions, 1K receiving yards, 9.8 yards per reception, and 6 receiving touchdowns. He kind of like started to pop off in like the second half of the season. Um, and was it an issue of him being kind of the only girl at the ball? Maybe. With guys like Mike Gesicki, guys like Devontae Parker, in and out of injury. Will Fuller being, I think he played like 3 snaps and then got injured again. Jaylen Waddle was the premier guy, and I don't imagine Mike McDaniel going away from Jaylen Waddle in this next season. So I'm planting my flag early here. Jaylen Waddle's going to be my Deebo Samuel of this season. I drafted Deebo almost everywhere last season, and I'm going to do the same. He's going to be like my breakout candidate, potential top five, all that stuff. Now, it's contingent on whether or not Tua can kind of take the next step. Now, we know that the head coach that's coming in is going to bring a more offensive-minded scheme to the Miami Dolphins, which is good news for both Tua, Jaylen Waddle, and any of the other pieces, around. They still kind of have question marks at the running back. I hope they address that. And yeah, I think Jaylen Waddle is going to be just a massive gadget guy with again, I can't imagine him getting less than 142 targets. I imagine him maybe pumping these receiving yards even more, maybe even more touchdowns, maybe a couple rushing touchdowns if they do plan to use him kind of as a gadget guy. And I'm extremely excited about Jaylen Waddle. And I know this is off-season hype and buzz, and Mike McDaniel was kind of, said, oh, he's going to be a leader. He's, we want to get the ball into the hands of our best players. I get all that. A lot of that is coach speak, but I think if you read between the lines, I mean, the guy even mentioned fantasy football. Like, I'll start him in fantasy, and I'm not going to take that to the bank in any way, but I don't know. Draft Jaylen Waddle. If you're in Dynasty, try it. I would give up a first for Jaylen Waddle with ease. With absolute ease, I would give up a first. If you can somehow swing that. I highly doubt it. Maybe a first and maybe an older wide receiver like an Adam Thielen plus a first. I would do that in a fucking heartbeat. Especially if maybe you're not like in super win now mode. You're kind of like middle of the pack. This could be the dude that brings you up into win now mode. So, yep, that's my analysis on Jaylen Waddle. I'm going to maybe do some more videos on him as the season approaches just to kind of like analyze the offensive line changes and maybe some other like free agent pickups. And then, of course, the NFL draft just to see how the Dolphins are going to look because I think they have a great defense. They have a great like core unit. Tua Tagovailoa is capable if they just like let him sling it a little more, and then yeah, go grab Jaylen Waddle, man. So yeah, like and subscribe the video, guys. I'm gonna be doing some more of these like player spotlights, kind of releasing insights on the players that I'm really excited about going into the season. So like and subscribe, and thanks, guys.